Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel and another video. Let's do the intro and let's get right into it. Yes, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to the channel as well. Like I put on Twitter earlier tonight, I sent out the bat signal. As he's been called by Michael, the Jason Bourne of Arsenal podcasting. I'm going to give you another name. I'm going to call you the Clark Kent of the Arsenal podcasting world, because you went in that phone box, you pulled it off, you put the Superman costume on, you went, James, I'll help you, I'll save the day, and you've come on with me, which saves me doing a show on my own, which I would have done, but it would have been 10 times worse. So, as always, Neil, thank you very, very much.
No, thank you for having me on, and thank you for waiting. I was tardy, and I apologise. So, thank you.
No. Anytime. And yeah, unfortunately, Neil, I can't bring you on in the best of Arsenal circumstances. I have to invite you on when it's arguably the doldrum period.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to get overly into it, because we still got 3 points this week. So I'm not going to, it's not the end of the world. But obviously, yeah, we've spoken about it already at the weekend on Sunday morning. So we might as well both kick each other in the gonads again and quickly bring it back up. Bournemouth at the weekend, Neil. Obviously, the lineup, I won't get too deep into it. But, yeah, obviously, Moreno and Sterling got a start there. Both of them. Really, the main thing that we could bring up with that first half is, again, the big talking point of the week. It's the William Saliba sending off, Neil. Rob Jones, the ref, initially gives the yellow, gets told to go to the monitor and change his mind by a Liverpool supporting, an admitted Liverpool supporting VAR official, who, funny enough, that's the game that we're playing after, is Liverpool this weekend. Sends off arguably Arsenal's best defender with his decision. And a certain ex-police officer, not saying that all ex-police officers are corrupt, just throwing it out there. He is one. He's on his phone and he's got the earpiece in. Apparently he has the earpiece in at every game that he watches. I've not seen it until that one, but apparently he has an earpiece in for every game that he goes and watches. So I'll keep an eye on that, because he's going to be shown again on Sky and all the other channels this season. So we will be looking for that earpiece. Like a hawk, bear in mind, I will be looking for that earpiece. Yeah, but he's on his phone at the same time. But he wasn't, was he ordering a Deliveroo? Was it a Domino's? What was he doing, Neil? What do you think? Was he? I don't want to say he was influenced. He's probably, he's probably on Tinder or something. But it don't look good, does it?
It looked very busy to me, right at that point in time. It just looked as if he was involved. And why would Jamie Carragher send out a tweet and then promptly delete it? It doesn't make any sense. So, if I was a betting man, I'd have money on it that he was involved. But it's just a farce, another farce in a long list of farces which has gone on for decades, James, not just the last couple of years. And I've told you off air quite privately that I'm just done with it all. I'm so sick of it. The double standards against us and the bias, it is almost now in your face. They're not even trying to hide it. They're not even trying to make it kind of, we'll be a bit discreet about it, but we'll be biased against Arsenal. They're just like in your face now. We get the same foul less than 24 hours later with a completely different outcome. And it just makes me sick. It completely ruins the game. It ruins our chances, or it dampens our chances against Liverpool on Sunday, who are actually flying at the moment. And I don't like any of it. I know that we weren't playing very well. We weren't playing well at all with 11. You're better at analysing the starting lineup and as to why that might be. But we weren't playing well. But my point is this: even despite that, even you guys argue that we weren't playing well, so it didn't really matter whether the guy gets sent off, because we don't think we would have won the way we were playing. And I agree, we wouldn't. The first 30 minutes we were atrocious. We had no creativity. Ethan. We had no creativity. Again, no Ethan on Tuesday. I mean, I don't know what's happening with that. We're going to lose a great player if Arteta isn't careful. If he doesn't manage him, we're going to lose him. I can guarantee it to you. He is too damn good to not to play football at the top level. Anyway, that's a different story. But my point is, it's only 30 minutes into the game, and you've seen football can be a game of two halves quite clearly. It's happened so many times, even to us. And even if we were playing that bad, with 11, we still stand a better chance of trying to recoup it and trying to get things back together in the second half. And it's harder to do that with 10 men. So I think the controversial sending off did dictate the game. It wasn't just our bad play, as it has done in the previous 2 red cards. Yeah, but by the level, they're all red cards. I agree. I'm not going to dispute it. They're red cards. However, any other team, not so sure. Will it happen again? Not so sure. Hello, Dan. I just don't believe it, James. I'm sorry. I'm sick and tired of it. And we got another dodgy ref, haven't we, on Sunday, I believe.
Mate, you could have said that it's any ref in the league, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah." When you say the dodgy one, Neil, it's hard to. Well, what's that? They all are, aren't they? Even the ones that do the video, even the ones that are primarily on the video screen, they can't even do that properly. I'm like, all you got to do is push a button. You can't even push a button. I'm like, oh my word. But yeah, no, I think you're spot on with everything you say there, and it really is taking a lot of the joy out of it. I mean, I saw a lot of consensus that were just like, you're an Arsenal fan, you've lost, and you can't take it. But I'm just as aggrieved about what happened to us for Wolves at the weekend, because, and I don't watch that ref watch stuff, Neil, because I can't be bothered. You know, he's worse than people that come out. You know, he's worse than a politician, that Gallagher, isn't he? He just will not, even when the evidence is presented to him that he's wrong. No, ref got that spot on. Great process. You know, that great process line that they say, like they did at Spurs. Top stuff, lads. Great process. Yeah, and I mean, they said they're going on about on that show. They're going on about the. Oh, we lost Neil there. Hopefully, I can get him back. Hey, are you back? Yeah, you're on. I've got you. You're on mute, but I've got you.
Yes, I'm back. Are we live?
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah. We're still here. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about
that. That's all right. No, it's all good. But yeah, they've got they've got the pundits and everything. I mean, they've got Warnock in, who's an ex-Liverpool player anyway, so you know where his decision's going to be. And they're saying about, you know, the one in the Liverpool game. Oh, it's different because there's a player by the side of him. And I'm like, well, hang on a sec. You spent all last night on Sky, same channel, telling me that the proximity doesn't matter. You know, Theo Walcott's going, well, you know, we can't really judge foot races in these kind of, and I've got nothing against Theo. If anything, actually, Theo Walcott is probably the best ex-Arsenal player pundit there is, because Smudger's getting on my nerves a bit now. Lee Dixon, to me, has always not been a good pundit. Henry was hit or miss. You gave him a lot more credence because it's Thierry Henry, but he weren't the best of pundits, I don't think. But Theo, I'm like, yeah, I enjoy listening to you. You back us as well. And yeah, Theo said, well, it's not about the foot races. And yet the next day, within a day, Sky come out and go, oh, no, he would have beat him in the foot race to win that ball. And I'm like, well, hang on a sec. It's completely different because, okay, Saliba's wrapped this Evan Nelson, but he's not planting him on the floor. This Tosin for Chelsea has got Jota. He's throwing Jota on his ass. And so I'm like, he can't, he's going to, you think if the ref allows that, he's going to throw him to the ground and Jota's going to spring back up again. Jota's going to be rolling about for ages. If he doesn't, Liverpool fans be screaming at him. They're like, go down, take the red card, and then, yeah, just unbelievably.
I'm not buying it, James. I'm not buying it anymore. I'm done with it. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is so palatable, and the thing is, it is a shame because, like you said earlier, it completely saps the enjoyment out of a game. You know, you want a game to be a level playing field. It doesn't matter if Manchester City are miles better than us, but at least have a level playing field when it comes to the rules and how the game is managed and governed and officiated. If you know that there's going to be a bias either to one team against the other, what is the actual point of even turning up? What's the point? I don't see the point anymore. I was so down, and I still am. You know, I thought maybe Tuesday would cheer me up. And all right, we got the win. No, but you know, we still got the win. And I thought maybe, you know, sometimes you just react. You're emotional. You react. I'm still feeling the same, James. I'm feeling absolutely kind of. It's almost like a robbery. You know, all of us invest so much time and emotional kind of energy to our football team, And then to see things like this, almost every game now, it's not even like I was saying on the WhatsApp group, it's not even one of every 4 or 5. It's every single game now, literally. And you can't take, how much more of that can you take as a fan? That you love the club and you want it to succeed and you want to do well. So we could play perfect football, James, and still be robbed. So what's the point? Don't even bother turning up.
Exactly. And this is the thing as well, is that, every single person throughout the game is accountable apart from one set. And that's, you got the players that are accountable if they mess up or they do something wrong. 9 times out of 10, they'll come out and say, yeah, sorry about that. Managers will come out, and even fans like you now. You're saying that obviously you're angry, but it's not the end of the world. But you've got an angry reaction to what's happened. Like me, angry reaction to what happened at the weekend. But we're accountable for what we're saying and what we're doing. And yet these refs just, even if they come out after, I would just love one of them to come out after a game and just stand there and front proper questions, not these where Sky are like, where they're in the earpiece at Sky saying, "Don't say this about us, don't say this about," and then they shut it all down because Neville was taking them on. Like I said in that Liverpool Spurs game last season, he was on a bit of a rant, and then the guy jumped in and went, and that's like, yeah, you've been told in the earpiece, cut it out, cut it out. So, yeah, I would love for just even. I mean, Michael Owen doesn't even hold himself accountable, let alone Howard Webb accountable. So, get someone who's better than him to front that show, or, just get him out here and get him actually answer it, especially when it's big decisions like this. Because, like you said, I think, again, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I didn't think we played well enough anyway, but it definitely has. If to say a red card doesn't have an impact, silly. I'm not that dense and naive. And I think some of what happened, I do look at Mikel because I look at that Raheem Sterling sub, and again, hindsight, wonderful thing. I think you took away your only outlet of pace there for the defense. You left it for a bit, then you changed your mind and went for the defender in Kivior. Obviously, Moreno has a shot that was deflected, but we never get the corner. That's not brought up again, by the way. No one ever spoke about that. Obviously, had Raya making saves, trying to save us as well before, and then we get this Gabriel Martinelli chance, which he should have tucked away. He knows it, and I think all of us know it. And that's the thing for me. I don't necessarily think that everyone goes on about this Saka injury and the Odegaard injuries. Arsenal just inherently in their DNA are going to create chances with regardless of what personnel we pick. It's just that we have to be clinical. And that's something we've said for God knows how many seasons now, isn't it, Neil?
I think, look, this team has been playing absolutely fantastic over the last 2 seasons. It's probably the best football we've seen in a long while, right, James? We all agree on that. It's almost led us to 2 titles in a row. It's just been unfortunate. We just didn't quite cross the line. So you can't argue with that. And we have scored lots of goals. So you can't argue with that either, because they've been coming maybe not from one particular player, but they've been coming from all around. And it doesn't matter. If we're going to score 90 or 100 goals, I don't care if they're from 100 of them from the goalkeeper. I couldn't care less, as long as we get the results. But there is something to be said in those games where we're struggling, and you can clearly see where there might be a lack of creativity from the midfield, and there's also a lack of creativity or finishing from up front. You're not going to get anywhere. It's just not going to happen. And I think we have been talking about this striker, this elusive striker that we never seem to have been able to get. Someone who's just clinical, who's a proper orthodox out-and-out striker who can just get in the box, be strong. Now, I'm not saying Kai Havertz isn't that player, because he's been doing amazing. I've been lauding him for the whole year, and I still am. I still think I know you were talking about Raya, and there's a couple of other names that come in, but I still think he's our best player, or most improved anyway, in the last few months. But we still need that extra person. Kai can't do it all on his own, James. We still know that other person.
Yeah.
The other people we have are the likes of Jesus. He doesn't put the ball in there. Martinelli is only just finding his form now, thank God. Saka's out injured. Then Trossard, I still think he's better as a sub than he does, and he comes on and does it. But when he starts, he's not as effective. We don't have someone that can literally just come on and that we've got a great chance. And that's what's lacking.
Well, we do. We just don't play him. We know who it is. But yeah. I mean, the striker debate obviously goes on, especially after games like this. But I listen to. I know he's not everybody's favourite, but I was listening to Shearer the other day when the game was on Amazon, and he was saying Kai Havertz is perfectly fine. It's just like you said, they need someone else because like Kai Havertz can't do it on his own. And as much as Kai Havertz has got all these brilliant qualities and he's adding qualities every single game, we had that podcast a few weeks ago and Lee was saying it, even Melvin was saying it about we've not seen a player at Arsenal who's come in and looked like this and then gone to that. And he's, we're seeing so many different. But I think a maverick type forward that fans are crying out for, I don't think Arsenal are ever going to get one, especially with Arteta as the coach, because like we saw here, he's so they're so overcoached and control focused. We don't really have mavericks anymore. I don't think, Guardiola's team doesn't really. Okay, you've got a De Bruyne or someone like that can ping up, but I'm talking about an actual maverick player. I don't think there is one. Even at I don't think Man City have one because it's all about the control and the dominance. It's like you said. I have as many decent players as I can have, and it's a goal by committee. Okay, they've got the robot now, but I wouldn't say the robot's a maverick. I'm clinical. I'm like, you give me one chance a game, I score that one chance. But if you give me 5, 6, 7, 8 chances a game like Man City do, I score 3, I score 4, I score 5. So unless we can find a Mark II Haaland who, well, if that exists, I think every club in world football is going to be trying to buy him. I don't see who this maverick centre forward is going to be. I mean, I always talk about Gyökeres, and I love Gyökeres, but I don't think he's going to, I think he'd be amazing for Arsenal, but I don't think he's this guy that everyone's painting him out to be. And I think, again, he'll just be someone that we can feed, and he is more clinical than Havertz. But going back just to Bournemouth quickly, and Jamie Carragher, I watched Monday Night Football for my sins. I was interested in what they were going to say. Plus, Aaron Ramsey was on it, and I thought, you know what? I've always loved Aaron Ramsey, so I'll see what Aaron Ramsey has to say. And he actually said that Bournemouth at half-time, their set-piece coach, after Iriola spoke and done his speech, he said to them, lads, we've witnessed this that's happened in the first half with Arsenal's positioning, especially now that they're down to 10 men. So the next corner we get, they're going to leave this gap. And they said, attack that gap. And we've mentioned it before. If we're going to lose, we can take losing to some absolute worldy bit of quality. Just not us not turning up, not putting the effort in and everything, which we had the worldy bit of quality for their goal because they've Arsenaled Arsenal with that set piece to me. I think it's unbelievable. And just what a goal by Christie. Unfortunately, got to take it on the chops, haven't we?
Yeah, I had no complaints. I saw that goal. I actually applauded it. I said they deserve it. That's a great goal. I said it on the pre-league. If we'd scored that, we'd be talking about it forever. We would have been going mad on the WhatsApp. I said, look, I know we've scored some great stuff from set pieces, but look at that. Did you see that? And it wouldn't have mattered if it was Bournemouth or against anyone. It would have been an amazing goal. And it was. I've got no complaints. People were saying that he was unmarked, but it was just too fast. They worked so fast. The defense couldn't. I don't think there would have been many teams in the world that could have stopped that. That was just brilliant. That was a moment of genius. A bit like, who's that? Was it the Leicester goal, the second Leicester where he scored, where they got it? I mean, that was a great goal. What can you do against that? Sometimes these goals happen. All you got to do as a fan, as much as it hurts, you got to take your hat off and say, well done.
Yeah, and they then get a second from the penalty, and obviously Kivior made the mistake, and Kluivert's not going to miss, and it's game over. I was, like we said before, I was worried that David Raya was going to get sent off as well because I thought this ref's, he's handing out cards like Clinton's. I thought, it's going to be game time for David Raya. And hello, Danny. Good to see you as always. But yeah, I'll go back to it. I know we've spoken about it on the Purely, but I'll bring it up again here, Neil. And it wound me up for two reasons. So 81st minute of the game, game's over. Kluivert scored that penalty. To me, game's over. That's when he then makes those attacking changes. And he brings Jesus on for him. And then he also brings Nwaneri on as well. And it's literally Jesus who, like we've said, has got all the huff and puff in the world, but we know he can't finish at the moment for whatever reason. And then Nwaneri, who we know he's a brilliant, brilliant player. But again, 2-0 down. They're not really going to surrender. Yeah, what are you going to... You got 9 minutes. Save us in 9 minutes.
I've seen him do that with ESR a couple of times as well. We were frustrated, and he brings him on. We're like, what do you want him to do? You're not giving him any game time, and would you same thing? But you're right. I was I think it was just after half time. I say, make the changes. No, none. And then when he did it in the 80th minute, where it was, said, too little, too late, mate. What are you doing? His man management and game management sometimes absolutely sucks. Sometimes it gets it absolutely spot on. There's been times where he's brought on subs and they've changed the game for us, and then we're applauding him. But we've always said it how we see it. We're not going to, just because it's Arsenal and they play, they played well 5 games ago, that we just can continue just like saying, oh, they were amazing. I'm sorry, they were shite on the weekend.
Yeah.
That's coming from me.
Yeah.
I've followed them for God knows 50 years. They were shite, okay? And the man management is something that Arteta, if we're going to improve, he's got to learn from this. But he's been there 5 years, James.
Yeah. Yeah. Danny there. Jesus at the moment, not scored since January. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anyway, because we did the podcast Sunday and obviously we're in the group chat, but I was fuming with him for taking off Kiwior, Neil. I really just thought to myself, that's just not. It's first of all, to go with all the attacking subs then was unnecessary, but to take Kiwior off, I'm like, he's already down because of that mistake, and now you just it's a dog pile on him now. It's just an absolute dog pile on him.
And he's a good player, James. He's a good squad player. We could really do with him in moments of crisis where actually our defence is falling to injuries. I mean, look how many are out now. It's getting really worrying. And I think Kiwior, that mistake was probably the only mistake I've seen him make in all the cameos he's made this season. I don't know about you, James, but I think...
Yeah, it was.
So you're penalised him. It was your mistake to bring him on in the first place, because you should have actually brought in an attacking player. But you brought him on. Well, now stick with him. But no, sub him off. He's made a mistake. And I don't even think he consoled him at the end. I might be wrong. But it was more interesting in consoling Trossard, which is starting to... I love Trossard. I do. Right? But I'm actually starting to get really annoyed that I feel that he's being appeased all the time now by everyone, even with the penalty. Why is he taking the penalty on the
it's coming up
game?
Sorry.
No, I've jumped ahead.
No, go for it. There's no rules on here.
I just feel like he's being appeased ever since that stare. I can't remember which game was that against. Villa. And I'm like,
it's like you said, he made a sub there that changed the game.
He's almost scared of him, or scared that he's going to say, do you know what? I'm going to leave.
That goes back to what you said about making a sub that wins us the game.
Yes.
He brought Trossard on at a good time there. And
that's right. Yeah. Exactly. That's my point. So player management, man management, I don't know. It fell apart on the weekend. But one thing I will say, which I think we mentioned on the Purely, and I think Michael put it to me. He said, no, it's been coming. We haven't actually played that well this season. There you go. Oh, yeah. Exactly that. He said, I don't think we've played absolutely brilliantly this season, but we've got through. We fought our way through, and that's why we had 17 points. We were unbeaten before that game, but he said it was coming, and I think maybe there's a truth in that. And the problem is, I wouldn't have been so worried about one loss. But look at the way it's happened, and look at the players now that we're missing. And unfortunately, we're playing a team that actually are playing absolutely brilliant at the moment. And it's worrying for me.
Yeah. So just to wrap, obviously, Bournemouth up and then go into something slightly more positive. I always do this on here, so I'll just throw this up quickly. So I do the man of the matches for every game. Me, myself, I mean, no one overly stood out for me. But I've got to give it to my man, Thomas Partey. I thought he did really well against Bournemouth. Obviously got moved over at one stage to right back, and he done his job there as well. So for me, Thomas Partey got man of the match for that one. What about yourself, Neil? Have you got anyone different, or you agree the same?
I think I would go with that. But I was pleasantly surprised to see was it Martinelli played a bit in that game, didn't he? And I think he was a lot better, and it was nice to see his improvement. So I think, although maybe he wasn't right up there for the man of the match, I think he's improved a little bit, and then obviously that does show a bit more in the next game that we're going to talk about. So I go with that, James.
Yeah. So obviously Shakhtar midweek, and Martinelli got back in the starting lineup, which is what we all said we wanted, and we got Jesus was back on the wing, which we all called for. We all said, if you're going to bring him back on the wing, don't play him up front. And then obviously Trossard and Havertz were doing the whole, I'll go set it forward one bit, and swap over. And this is the thing for me, Neil. A lot of people were saying about how they're really worried about the weekend because of the lack of what's being created at the moment. But I just want to just briefly remind people that first half, Calafiori should have scored, and he skies it right over the bar. To me, I've watched it back, and I'm like, it's actually harder to do what you've done than score. I don't know how he's got it so over that bit. I was baffled. I was watching it again, thinking, how have you done that actually? Like, how have you hit that so over the top? It doesn't. I was like, he does everything. Everything else about him's perfect, like his body, his hair, and everything. I'm like, what have you done there? But we like they always the saying goes, everybody can't be perfect. Trossard, he had a great chance. Martinelli laid him through on a cross, and he hit it wide. Um, Kai Havertz, he nearly kills himself with a header, and nearly gets booted in the face. So for me, I'm like, we like I said, regardless of these people that are out, and they're brilliant players, Saka and Odegaard. Oh my word, I won't say to you ever that they're not good players, but just inherently Arsenal, because of the DNA and what we do, we're just always going to create. And the own goal again comes off, like you said, Martinelli doing some great work, and unfortunately for this goalkeeper, his arse is a bit bigger than most players, and it just hits the post and goes in off it, doesn't it?
I was so pleased. I know it's unfortunate for the goalkeeper, but I didn't care. End of the day, I was so pleased for Martinelli because his mini revival has paid off, and the world of confidence that's going to give the kid is immense. We know there's a great player in there, James. We absolutely know it, but we're getting a little. I was getting a bit worried about him, and I was thinking, what's going to happen to this guy? He's completely bereft of confidence. In his final ball. And he's becoming very predictable. What's he doing? But especially on Tuesday, so I thought he was back. I thought the old Martinelli was back, and it's a shame that we couldn't have actually gone on and dominated from there, and maybe got another 2 or 3 goals, which he could have potentially been involved in as well. That was my only disappointment, really. But apart from, I think I agree with you about the first half. I was watching it. I was enjoying it. I was thinking, this is exactly the response we needed. Not just as a response for the disappointment on the weekend, but also in preparation mentally for Sunday. And I thought, this is great. I'm enjoying this. And we were creating, as you said, we had a couple of chances which on another day maybe would have gone in. But I was just very pleased for Martinelli.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you say that second half, he had arguably our biggest chance again, where Havertz done some brilliant work running out wide, and then he's crossed the ball in. And like Shearer said on the commentary, I think it's Trossard and Moreno. They're the ones that are near the centre of the, but they like stop running. I'm like, if they carried on, one of them's got a tap in. And they'll score it. But Martinelli gets it, cuts through and shoots, and it was a really good save from the keeper, actually, to be fair to him. But again, yeah, like you said, Martinelli, especially if these injuries are for longer than we expect, him being sharp, massive. And yeah, I'm obviously gutted because his goal got taken off him, but it is right for sadly it is an own goal. But yeah, no, it was a brilliant piece of work there. But I'll go into it because you went into it a minute ago, but I'll bring it up now. Obviously, the penalty, Neil. So now I understand Kai Havertz is obviously on this record. I wanted him to get it. I wanted him to get it just for him and everything else. But for me, Kai Havertz is a team player because he remembers them giving him a penalty when he probably needed it the most last year at Bournemouth. So he's probably looking at the situation going, you know what, Trossard made that mistake at the weekend. Fans are somewhat on his back, not overly on his back, but somewhat on his back. Let him have the penalty, let him score, and then here we go, 2-0, we win the game, happy days, blah blah. My record schmecord, it doesn't matter. But the penalty, the penalty's shocking. It's absolutely terrible, and I didn't know this. Apparently, he's not got a good record for penalties. And I think he's missed I think out of the last 4 he's taken, he's missed 3. Trossard, whereas Havertz is, I think he's 19 out of 20 in his career.
Almost perfect.
Yeah. So
no, I look. If that was the reason from Kai, that's very nice of him. But we can't have nice. We can't. I do love nice. I love that way of life. I think if everyone's nice, this world would be a better place. But when you're on the football pitch, it's war. It's war, and that is even a little bit amongst your own players in the sense that that little bit of competitive edge between them is, I think, good. If there's a little bit of angst and a little bit of kind of argy-bargy between them, saying, "What the hell are you doing?" If it's a positive response to that can only make everyone collectively better. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. And I just think that he should have been selfish and gone for it. I'm not going to just for the record, just because of the sense that he is more clinical with that particular, part of the game. And I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I don't think it was the right thing to do. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, James. If he'd scored it, we wouldn't be talking about it, would we? So it's one of those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know because Jesus was obviously the captain, but he was taken off by then. So, and I can't even remember who. I think maybe it was Gabriel that got given the armband, but I can't remember. Sorry, everybody, because I don't know if that was a captain's call to be like, yeah, give. But I didn't even see Havertz grab the ball. To Trossard was the one who got it. He picked it up right away. So, but just going on the penalty as well. To you, was it a penalty? Because I've had this discussion with Jack, and I said to him, I'm going up in today's standard. Yes, it's a penalty. But I said, me in my 1990s, early 2000s watching foot, I'm like, that's bullshit. I'm like, because his arm's tensed and it. I'm like, but of course, I'm like, he's jumping. It reminded me of the Saliba one against Chelsea last season. I'm like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like he can't get his arm away.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, VAR's being used correctly to see these sort of things. And again, like I said, by today's ruling and standards, it is. But I think it's very soft. I'm like, how many penalties are going to get given if that's a penalty now?
Yeah, there is that. I mean, well, look, we all know that there's so much inconsistency with the way the rules are regulated, if you like, and the rules themselves. And maybe there needs to be more clarity. But I get what you're saying. I think if that had been the other way around, we would have been pretty upset. So from that point of view, yes. I mean, the only difference I can think of with the Saliba one was his arm was definitely tensed. Now, I don't know whether that's just because he's in the air and you're not thinking about, do I tense my arm when I'm jumping or not? And it's a split-second thing, isn't it? So if you give the player the benefit of the doubt, it is a bit of a silly one. But yes, I'm not saying that, suggesting that is a reason for the penalty. What I'm saying is I think his arm was tense because actually sees all his muscles flap around when the ball hits him. So you know that his arm is tense. So whether he was trying to stop the ball from passing him and that was the only way he could do it, maybe. But yeah, end of the day, it didn't even make any difference, did it, James? We didn't bloody score the penalty.
Yeah.
It's academic anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. But also, just quickly as well, before obviously I do the man of the match for this one, and then we'll get into the last bit before we go. I've got to give a shout out to Lewis Skelly. I know we wanted to see the young players. We didn't get the young player that we all wanted to see, but Lewis Skelly, for me, unnatural position playing at left back. Arteta's trying to develop him there. We've seen that in pre-season. I think he's maybe defensively he's not the full whack at the moment, but on the ball, Neil, I like this kid. I think he's brilliant on the ball. Great little passes, comfortable, wants it. Like we say about Ethan, where he's calling, like you can and the players trust. The thing for me, the biggest thing that I think is, oh yeah, you're going to make it here, is the other players give him the other players trust him to have the ball. Yeah.
Like we talk about Ethan, he's fearless, isn't he? He's not, even when he was coming on, you think that, oh my God, I'm walking onto a Champions League game here and I'm going to be in a bit of a critical role because, they were coming back at us in the second half. So it wasn't, am I still here? So I thought, it could be a little bit overwhelming, like I've said about the Ethan roles when he comes on, but no, he was really good. And which game was it where he made that pass to, God knows who it was? Oh, it was such a great pass. I don't know if it led to a goal for us. I can't remember the name of the game now. But he is forward thinking. He's a forward thinking player. And you talk about maybe defensively, but he's going to grow, isn't he? He's going to get bigger. He's going to get fitter. He'll probably do more work in the gym. He's still quite young. And if he can develop, potentially we've got so many players for that position, in theory. But they're all bloody injured.
well, I was just about to say we need him because Calafiori, sadly, bless him, he's done something with his MCL. Again, that's just.
Is that right?
Apparently it's only a few weeks. They reckon it's not as bad as.
Oh, well, that'll be 4 months for us.
Well, like I said the other week on the podcast, I couldn't believe it. They panned in the screen. They were showing on the telly Martin Odegaard, and I was like, "Oh, who's that sat with him?" And then it panned out a bit. I was like, "Oh my God, he's out of the." I thought he was dead. It's Kieran Tierney. He's out of federal witness protection. It's really him. And you know what? Kieran Tierney's probably sat there going, "Thank you, Arsenal, because you're rehabbing me so I can get a loan in January and then eventually leave in the summer." I think he's going to be playing games. He's probably going to get a new contract. He's probably getting a second berth. And fair play, I've always loved Kieran Tierney.
Me too.
And we all have. So I would have begrudged Kieran Tierney getting
neither
games.
would I.
But yeah,
genuinely,
I'm looking at it going, how long have you got left on that table, son? Because you need to get your boots on.
if he comes back, he's got more lives than a cat.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. Well, we've seen it, haven't we? You know, Thomas Rosicky used to get injured all the time.
Yeah.
But when his contract was up, all of a sudden that injury's gone. He scores 2 or 3 screamers. Nude Wenger, I'll give him a new deal. If you don't love Thomas Rosicky, you don't love football. New deal.
That's true.
Yeah, and he would, and then he'd go missing for the remainder of his just before that contract expired.
I wouldn't be surprised, James. That's a good point. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him again. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
he might even feature in the Caribou Cup.
He's going to be our only fit left back eventually, like you said. They're all, they're dropping like flies.
What is happening to us?
Oh, I don't know.
These last 2 seasons, we were very good disciplinary records. We had, I think we won fair play, or we were near the top of the table for that. Injury-wise, which is something that's plagued us decimated us for years, was a lot better. I mean, yes, we did have injuries, but God, we used to get injuries all the time. And this season, in the first 8 games, we've had both the red cards and the injuries. It's like we've made up for the last 2 seasons in the first 8 games.
Gotcha.
I don't know what's happening to us. I don't get it.
No. It just, when it rains, it pours. Is all I can think.
Yeah,
literally. But yeah, for that one, man of the match. Now, I'll give it to Gabriel Martinelli because it's pretty obvious. But I got this picture, and it's actually when he's putting his arms up to G the crowd. He's not, doing the, Pizza Hut, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and a Pizza Hut dance. That's just him trying to G up the crowd, or he's not doing he's not doing the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z. If anyone's getting confused, so yeah, that's him there.
Yes, I agree. Neil, before you ask,
yeah, good. Okay, that's that out of the way. So our next game, Neil, Liverpool. Now, I put these. I know. I put these lineups.
Could it, James?
Oh, don't. I put these lineups out on my Twitter every now and then, just to, because people interact with me, and I like it. I like knowing what people are thinking and feeling about what we're going to do. So I've made one up here, Neil. Okay. If you want to correct me at any time and go, no, that's bullshit, that's bollocks, I don't like that, then go ahead. More than welcome. Okay. That's why I've got you here. Okay. I'm doing this purely on the basis of what's available to us tonight, because that could flip. Yeah. And if that does, I'll mention what I want to happen. But yeah, I'll just chuck this up here now.
Okay.
And I'll let you digest it. So obviously, you got David Raya in goal.
Mm-hmm.
I sadly think our best midfielder, who's been Thomas Partey. I mean, imagine saying that at the start of the season. Right. You're going to go to me, James. 30. How many games? I think it's 11 or 12 games we've played. Yeah, 12 games we've played this season. Yeah, you're going to say to me, 12 games into the season, James, Thomas Partey is going to be your best midfielder. I'd have laughed at you, Neil. I wouldn't have believed you.
He's been brilliant.
He's been our best midfield player this season, easily. I've got Ben White moving into centre back, which again, I've got slight reservations about him moving into centre back, but that's what I believe is going to happen.
Okay.
Gabriel's got to be in there, so that's just, he picks himself. That's an easy one. I think he's going to go with Kivior at left back.
You think he will give him a chance?
I do. I think he's not going to put. I can't think he's going to put Zinchenko up against Salah, because that's just.
And Kivior, didn't he do well against Salah last time?
He pocketed Salah last time.
Right. Well, there you go then.
And for me, as much as I, waxed lyrical about Skelly a minute ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to put Skelly out against Liverpool.
No, you don't want to. No.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to absolutely ruin the kid before he's really got a big chance.
Agreed.
The midfield. I think if you take away Partey, you've got to play Jorginho at the 6.
Okay.
The reason for that is Declan Rice, for me, hasn't even shown enough at the 8 where he wants to. So I don't want to move him back to a position he's not played for a very, very long time.
Right.
Because again, for me, he's got to show that he's good enough at the 8 before we move him into the 6 again.
Okay.
I want Ethan. But he's going to pick Trossard for me, because, like you said earlier, I think he wants to get something out of Trossard. And then Saka, as much as they're saying, he might be fit, and I've gone with Jesus because he's the best bet at the moment with everyone that we've got on that right-hand side. I would love nothing more than Sterling to play against Liverpool and Sterling to score against Liverpool.
I know.
It would make my day.
I know.
But I think Jesus is the one there, and then Martinelli and Havertz. It's just academic in it. They pick themselves there.
Yeah.
So, what say you, Neil? What do you think?
So easy ones, obviously, Raya, Martinelli, obviously Gabriel, as you said. I think Kyrgios's a good shout. I think he's a good shout because not just because of what happened the other day with him being subbed as a sub, or sub coming off as a sub, being subbed as a sub. What am I trying to say here? Trying to get my words around.
You said the same thing 3 times. You were right the first time round.
And I haven't even drunk.
It's my fault. I
haven't even had 1 drop of alcohol. God, just on the water, mate. So I think that's a good call because I think if he does, and I hope he does, because I think he's a good player. I've always liked him, and I think he could do a job for us. So that's a good thing. Why I was actually going to suggest that anyway before I saw the lineup. I thought, I wonder if he'll play White as a centre back. And to be fair, that's a position we bought him in anyway. So he shouldn't be like an alien. It shouldn't be an alien position to him. It should be something that he could quite adjust to quite quickly. And hopefully it works. And then who have you got? You've got Partey. Well, to be fair, I don't like it, James. I do not like Partey there. It's completely rubbish. I was completely poo-pooing it in a really bad way last season when he tried that experimentation. But actually, where he has featured in that position, he's been pretty good. So maybe I can understand your sense and logic for that. To be honest, I'm going to say I like the whole team. The only one I'm going to say I would change is Ethan. But if he hasn't played Ethan for Southampton and Leicester, and even the game on Tuesday, he ain't going to play him against Liverpool. And this is what's worrying me. When is he going to play him? What, in Preston?
He'll start against Preston. He will.
Okay, great. I'm happy for the lad because obviously that's what we want. But I'm with all due respect to that cup and with all due respect to Preston, James, I think he's a lot better than that. I still will say he's probably been one of our best players the minutes he's played this season, and he deserves better. I hope.
Well, it's like he scores. What was it? 2 against Bolton, or was it 1? I can't remember. Was it 1 goal or 2 goals he scored?
No, it was 2, wasn't it?
I thought it was 2.
And then
I think.
Yeah,
but and I'm like, okay, so he'll score more. Say again, hypothetical question, but we're doing what we want here. We're free flowing. Okay, he scores 2 against Preston. He knows he ain't playing the next game at the weekend. Is it Newcastle after Preston?
Yeah. Well, what's the point then?
He's probably going to think to himself, okay, yeah, I'm glad I'm playing or whatever. But he's like, well, yeah, but okay, I'll come and mug off Preston from the Championship. But yeah, are you going to play me away at St James's Park? No. And I mean, a lot of people said to me as well about Moreno. I've got no. Again, I feel sorry for the guy. I think he's come in at a
bad time,
rough time and everything else. It wouldn't surprise me if he started him instead of Trossard because of the height and the dueling. I think he might just go, I need an extra defensive-y type player. He's not a defensive midfielder, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I want someone strong and physical.
He might do.
Because that's what he bought Kai for, was to be a midfielder originally. So be strong and powerful in that midfield, because that's where, Liverpool are much better this season, is defensively and in their midfield. They're actually got an engine room in there now. They're not being run through. No one's really taken the mickey out.
I think that might be a good shout, James. Yeah. And then Trossard maybe later on if we need him coming on in his best possible way.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you who my key man will be for that game, and he's got to be, and he hasn't really shone this season, is Declan Rice.
Of course it is, yeah.
He's got to be, for me, the man of the match if we're going to get anything out of this game. I'm honest with that's what I believe.
I think as well, another one, and it's quite obvious, but I thought he was better against Shakhtar, but I think he was the last 2 league games. He's not been his best. I think Raya's got to have a game and a half.
Don't know what's happened to him in the last 2 games.
He's got to have because they are going to potentially pepper this guy.
Yeah.
If we get this wrong, I was speaking to Jack about it. And he was saying to me, what do you think? And I went, Jack, I said, every game that I've watched today is because I watch everything. That's how I am. They leave them. They're still conceding chances, but no one's putting them away against them. Right. Like Nketiah had about 2 sitters against them the other way. I mean, Nketiah, Jesus. I watched him on Monday night and, oh, my God. I was
Nothing's changed.
I thought, how have we got 30 million? I said, bloody hell. I said, we've mugged Crystal Palace off big time.
We should have paid them.
Yeah. But honestly, and then the Wolves game as well, they were really, really lucky.
Yes.
Wolves had some good chances against them as well. And this is it, is that I'm like, we've just got to be clinical. You know, when we played them, was it 2 seasons ago where Martinelli just scored really early? They were all going, that's offside, mate. You know what they're like.
Oh God, I want
Yeah.
that to happen so bad.
If we score something quick to just completely send it up them,
Yeah.
oh yeah, because they'll be shell shocked by
And
that. I
James, I'm
think.
watching it with a Liverpool fan on Sunday.
Oh my God! You actually have people who are Liverpool fans.
Yeah, to be fair, he's probably I've known him since 1983. I've known him for that long. He's a dear friend of mine, but he's one of these fans which is so measured in how they approach a game. They appreciate. He used to tell me when Liverpool were going through their bad patch and we were doing really well, he would ask me to get a ticket to go with him to watch the Invincibles and to watch Thierry Henry.
Wow.
Because he said, he goes, my team's not great at the minute. I want to watch some good football. Can you get me tickets? He's like that. He really does appreciate good football. So there are exceptions to the norm, James. So I don't think he won't go heavy on me if they do win. Oh, I hate to say that on Sunday, but still, I've done it now. I've accepted the bait, and I'm got to face it in the pub that we're meeting up in.
At least you're in the pub. At least you could, you know.
Yeah. I can quietly disappear the toilets and then never.
Yeah,
be seen again.
you could hide into some scampi fries or something if need be. Yeah, exactly. No, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
Oh, mate.
That's the thing for me, because everyone for me is going on about how great, they're the best. They're the best side. They're the best side. For me, sadly, it's still Man City for me. But the thing with them is they're just no matter what front 5, 6, whatever they want to put up there, they're just all clinical. They just bang, bang, bang. And that's the annoying thing, because, like we said, we're trying to be a goals by committee team at the moment, and we're creating these chances, but we just don't tuck them away.
No.
And that's what's good. Last season, we're, who put the ball in the whatever team's net, weren't it? That was what we were singing, because
it was great. We were amazing.
Every single thing, even long range, bang, we're scoring.
4
headers
goals
from
here,
corners.
5 goals there. It was it was so beautiful to watch. Bring that away shirt back. It was brilliant. It worked. Everyone was hating that away shirt, and look how well we did with it. We will win this game. Oh, great! I hope so, man.
Well, I can't stand Liverpool more than anybody, so that would make my.
I don't know if you want to go through the comments, James. If there's a few of them, if you want to do that.
Yeah, I'll put this one up from Mike again, because I put it up earlier, but I think you were in the zone.
Yeah, do you think it shows? Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to tread back on that Bournemouth game, but after it, Neil, and I've always said about the only 2 things with Mikel for me are the substitutions and the man management, like we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
And I felt like when I watched England under Southgate.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was just like,
deja vu.
You've gone way too cautious too early. Taken off, Kai Havertz now. You've got no one around you with pace, so when you get the ball and you hold it up, you've got to flick it over the head of 6 players, run onto it, score, 2 or 3 goals. It just negated his game completely.
But why were we showing them so much respect? And I'm saying that with the utmost respect, because
to me,
but why it felt that way?
To me, Neil, it's because the last 2 seasons he's lost 2 leagues. So his whole thing is don't lose. If I can't win, I'll go defensive. Exactly. I don't think we can be like that. And I know our defense is superb.
Yeah.
To a man, all of them on their day are super. But I think if you go and show a glimpse of fear still with this Arsenal side, they all crumble. And you know what? That's been that way since William Gallas threw a strop at Birmingham. I just think if we show any sign of weakness,
it
just seeps into the whole team. Whole team.
Well, in a weird way, I was saying, we couldn't have faced Liverpool at a worse time, but actually it might be the best time to play them, because if we can get a good result, or even a result, it doesn't matter what it is. If we can get 3 points on the weekend, I think that will really completely change things again for us, because it'll not only just keep us up there and keep the pressure on the top 3 or 4, But I think mentally it will do us the world of good. Can you imagine if it goes the other way around? We're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, I was just about to say to you, he's out of Strictly Come Dancing, so he's talking about football again. Paul Merson today, he said, Neil, Arsenal lose, league's over already.
Yeah,
do you agree?
I do, because
I do as well.
You know why? In the olden days, even Wenger,
I hate myself saying it, but
no, so do I. I mean, come on, I'm the one that always is going to win everything, and I will always say that unless we're mathematically, it's impossible, right? But to be fair, in the olden days, you could lose several games and still win the league. The benchmark that City have raised, and even Liverpool to a certain extent, because they've apart from us in the last two, it's been Liverpool, isn't it? That they have raised the bar so high. You probably could get away with losing 2 or 3 at the very most. We've already lost 1, and at the end of the day, if we lose again on the weekend, that's 2. But we'll beat them. But the important thing is we're going to be 7 points behind the main team, or the team at the top. And I think that might be a little bit too much to claw back, unless there's a catastrophe. Yes, people say to me, but City and Liverpool are going to drop points. Yes, they are. They are going to drop points, but we're also going to drop further points too. And I feel that it's not just about the game in isolation. That is 3 points. It's what it will do to us mentally, because that will be 2 league defeats on the trot and a half, not a great performance on the midweek. Yeah, the first half, as we said, was okay, but overall it could have been a lot better, and it wasn't. And I just feel that how is that going to affect the boys mentally? Whereas a win is going to completely change things for me. So I think a lot hinges on Sunday. I think it's actually could be the key game of the season.
100% agree with you. Like always, most of the time we never disagree anyway. But yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, Neil. If I can press you for the prediction, I didn't predict at the weekend because I said I need more time.
Did I said I need more time. Purely? I did, didn't I? Did I say 2-1?
I want to say you did, yeah.
I can't remember what I think I might have said. I'm going to go with 2-1. If it wasn't 2-1, I apologise, but 2-1.
Yeah,
I think we'll win it 2-1. And I don't know who I said would score. I mean, hopefully it wasn't. But I want Martinelli to score against them.
Yeah,
again.
I'm going to bring it down a bit. I don't think we're going to lose. I think 1-1. I think we're going to draw 1-1. Yeah. And I reckon it's going to be, because Sky always do this. They overhype these games, and then they're just, they're like farts in church, mate. They're just, nobody wants to see them or hear them. So yeah, I'm gonna go for a 1-1. I think we're going to get a nervy. Now that it don't matter, I think Havertz. It will matter because it's a point against Liverpool. But you know what I mean. Now that there's no record or anything,
that was nonsensical, wasn't it?
I still think Kai Havertz is going to do it for me.
Okay, let's hope so. Well, whatever it is, let's hope that we put in. I think the most important thing is that we put in a full 90-minute proper good performance and make them. If they're going to win it, make them win it, not just roll over.
Oh, good point.
I don't agree in all top teams. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Well, just before we wrap up, I want to say, as always, thank you, Neil, for coming on. I appreciate it. Like I said, the bat signal went up late, and you answered the call. So
thank you for having me.
I'm really, really grateful, and always grateful. Oh, anytime, mate. And I'm always grateful for your opinions, Neil, because I went on a podcast at the weekend, and I got told that I had an agenda. So I just want to say that I've got the Oxford Dictionary definition of gender here. And it says here it's underlying intentions or motives of a particular person or group. Now, I want to know what they thought my agenda was, because this channel isn't even monetized. Hell, half the channels that I go on aren't even monetized. I've been doing podcasts about Arsenal since I was 18. I'm now 33 years old. Shall I tell you how much I've made in that time? And it might be a disservice to me, but I've made £0 and 0 pence. So if they believe that I had an agenda for monetary reasons, no, I'm just a lucky football fan that's been invited onto podcast, has his own, which again, this guy, you can start your own tomorrow. All you got to do, sign up to StreamYard. You don't have to pay for the subscription model. You can even have the free version and do it yourself. Just a guy that likes to talk about football with his friends. And they said something about me used to being on TV. I haven't been on TV for years, mate. The last time I was on TV, my mum walked into the room halfway through.
And I said, you look like Ricky Gervais.
Everyone said I looked like Ricky Gervais because I did at that time. I had short hair. I looked exactly. I was a spitting image of the guy.
You were.
That's how long ago
I messaged
that
you
I was on
straight away.
TV.
Jesus,
I had
James, don't
short
take this the
hair.
wrong way, but you look like Ricky Gervais. Go,
I
yeah,
had
that's
short
fine.
hair. I've gone from looking like Ricky Gervais to looking like
Jesus.
Barry Gibb.
Oh, okay.
And Jesus. Yeah. Add that to the list. Someone the other day said, some woman the other day when I was out said I look like OP from Sons of Anarchy. Never watched it.
Oh, that's a great show. You got to watch Slow Horses. Sorry, I'm giving Slow Horses a shout on your channel.
I said to her, I bet he dies. I bet I look like one of them who gets killed. Yeah. I was like, I bet he gets killed. I'm like, that's always my luck.
Sorry.
Doesn't matter. People have probably seen it, but yeah, but no. So shove your agenda up your Harris, because I ain't got no agendas. I just say what I want when I want. That's me. Anyway, take care, everybody. Much love. Enjoy the outro. Brother Wanstone's doing the song on the outro. His new single's out tomorrow on Spotify.
Hello, Dan.
Eudaimonia. Go stream it.
Hello, everyone in the chat as well. Thanks for interacting.
Yes, I was just about to say thanks, everybody in the chat, for joining us as well. And take care. Much love. Muchas gracias. Bye-bye.